Christina from Hoopla.
Hey, I'm Megan from Southern Branding.
And today we're going to be talking about decorating. I just came back from a conference in Texas because Hoopla is going to start offering some in-house decoration options. And I just really wanted to educate myself on all the cool things that are out there because it is easy to get kind of stuck in what you're used to. And so, Megan, I was going to ask you, when you think of decoration, what are like the first couple things that pop in your mind, or the majority of how you decorate apparel?
Well, I think, the obvious, what everybody is used to when you talk about like uniform apparel or, that sort of thing is embroidery. But like, I don't like doing embroidery so much. If truth be told, when we're trying to do something fun, I really love doing like a deboss or a laser or some sort of patch, like something cool that, and even transfers with all of the different style of transfers that are available now. That is a little bit different from, just your basic embroidery. I think embroidery definitely has its place, especially, when you're talking about uniform programs. That's left chest is a uniform. When you do another placement, then you're representing a brand, right? Which there's a difference. So while I think it definitely has its place, that's probably the most thought of. That and screen print. What do you think?
I would totally agree. And I think like as more of a newbie, I feel like more educated now that I came back from the conference. And I've always liked certain type of decoration, but I don't necessarily sell a ton of it because the price is usually a little harder to explain. It varies way more than embroidery and screen printing. Yes. Embroidery and screen printing is like kind of black and white with the pricing, yes, how they do it. And then also another thing that keeps me from selling it is fear of, or not really fully understanding the durability of it. And I think a lot of people embroidery, why people are attracted to it is because I think out of all of the decorations, it's known as the most durable. Like it can handle the most wear and tear.
I think that that's true to an extent, because if people aren't responsible with it, which is true for any type of garment, right? Then it doesn't necessarily have the durability because it starts to, pull and pucker like the actual embroidery does, but the integrity of it does not on the garment, and we've all seen that and know what that looks like. But Christina, I'm super excited to hear about the show that you went to, because I've never been to this, in the regular ASI and the PPAI show, all of the other industry shows. Like a lot of times there is equipment there and you can see things and all of that great stuff, but not like what you just went to. What you just went to was solely about the equipment with all of the different decoration, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It was pretty cool. So last night, if you're on LinkedIn or Instagram, you need to follow Megan. Megan on LinkedIn is Megan Hamlin. And then on Insta, it's not Hoopla. It's Southern Branding. It's Southern Branding. You should follow her. She recently did an interview with what do they call it? Taco Tuesday. What is?
Yeah, Taco Tuesday with Jay and Jeff. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Also done. Yes.
Yeah, and I've also done it, and I don't know the name, so forgive me. But Jay, I watched her interview last night when I was working, and she was fabulous as usual. But the interesting thing that Jay said during your interview that I thought was really interesting was when he said, we had run into each other at the show in Texas, me and Jay had, but he said, it's interesting because as Megan said, PPAI and ASI and all those shows that we usually go to show us the latest and greatest. But like the show I just went to is not really known to attract Megan and I distributors. Right. It's known for decorators that would attend. And it's almost like the half brother or half sister, half sibling of our industry. So I loved going because being able to educate myself on that side of the business, gave me a lot more power in understanding what to recommend to my clients.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where should we start?
Yeah. Like, well, tell us what you decide, like what you're going to be doing.
Okay. So we definitely did not want to do screen printing in-house. You need someone that's going to operate those machinery like you need a full-time employee for that. Also, it's extremely messy. It takes up a lot of room. You need special ventilation. You need special type of outlets. The equipment startup on it is just, it's gnarly. And it takes a lot of room, because I was actually going to go into that business before I opened up my Hoopla, the distributorship.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was going to buy a pre-existing screen printing business in the Treasure Valley and take it over. And I had really educated myself on it. And I was like, oh, holy moly, I don't know if this is for me.
A lot of headache. And right now, I mean, the shortage on ink is crazy how it's affecting, especially the small decorators out there that just aren't able to get the supplies that they need, which is
correct.
Yeah.
Well, another interesting thing is going to the half sibling show was hearing all these decorators talk about their pain points in supply shortages. And the interesting thing to me was, and I think because I'm newer to the business, I wasn't as complacent in thinking that everything was going to be in stock and always, come to me. So having to check like 20 different options for stock isn't as painful for me, because I'm just adapting to the business as it comes, and I'm newer to the business. But hearing where people were getting their blanks from and how they were navigating the shortages was very interesting to me, because coming from the other side, the promo side, I have a lot more tricks up my sleeve. I'm not as black and white when it comes to oh, he's like, I need love. So yes, he's really looking at you very adoringly. So yeah, it was interesting just to see how they were approaching it. But yes, so what are we going to have in house? So we left the conference spending quite a bit of money, but that's okay. We got a one head multi-needle embroidery machine. So we're going to start off there. So we will be able to offer in-house embroidery. So when we kind of have those rush orders, when we're depending on a subcontracted decorator, or even like a supplier doing the decoration in-house, I mean, we are basically beholden to their timelines. So having it in-house, we'll be able to kind of, execute to what our clients' needs are better. And also we'd love to offer personalization, which can get really pricey when you contract it out. But I think it's a great holiday add-on, or just an add-on in general.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when do you think that that's going to be kind of up and running for you?
It should arrive probably in early October, but we honestly have no training. We have no experience except for subcontracting out the embroidery. So I think from what I hear, it's going to take us at least 30 days to really understand what we're doing and really feel confident in producing products for, our clients. I do already have a handful of friends that are asking for monogrammed Egyptian cotton robes to wear to a spa day. So I think that'll be one of my first projects, is I'll be doing monogrammed robes for a couple of my friends to do like a spa day together, which will be fun practice. And that's another fun thing about having the machine in person, as well as the other machines I'm going to talk about that I am getting in person, is I'd love to do like a client appreciation day and have my clients come in and we can pre-order some kind of blank apparel for them. And then we can, have them see the process, and we can do something custom for them, just for them to keep and for them to understand how much I appreciate them as clients.
Will you take a moment to talk about the difference between the type of machine that you are talking about, that you just made a big investment in your business on, versus what a lot of people think when, they're looking for something monogrammed, or, they just want something quick turn embroidery. Like we all used to see those, like the booths in malls and
at Michael's.
Yeah. Like in
like
the
kind of
shops. Like this is totally, we're not talking about the same thing.
No. Yeah. I mean, I am not totally, basically what I think you're talking about is kind of more those sewing machines, the hobbyist machines that you that's not really the same thing. So the machine I'm getting is not cheap. I'm still processing that, but it's an industrial machine. It's meant to, handle Carhartts. It's meant to handle, embroidering all around caps. It's meant to handle, multicolored designs. So the machine I'm getting has 12 different, it holds 12 different colors. Doesn't mean we're going to do 12 colors all at once, but it's just, it's meant. Yes, correct. And then it also does 1,200 stitches a minute. And a typical left logo, in at least on my end, is around 6,000 stitches, maybe less. So, that you're looking at about, probably, and then you have to hoop the garment and kind of put the file in. And that's another thing people don't understand is when we talk about digitizing.
Yes.
So digitizing doesn't mean we just put your logo in beep, bop, boop, beep, bop, like a computer, just like, gives us, it's digitizing is basically creating like programmer's language for a commercial embroidery machine to understand when to put what colors in, what kind of stitch to use. There's satin stitches, there's, all these different kind of stitches. So it's really an art form when you are getting something digitized. It's not,
yes,
it can be done different ways.
Like it is an art form. You're totally correct in that. And even the way that, that things are sewn, like, it's digitized differently for a flat, what we call hats versus flats.
Yes.
There's a difference in the way that the logo is set up. Yes.
Yeah. So if you're doing that,
I think all of that's really interesting, and people outside our world, may not know all of that and don't know everything. I'm sorry, she is having a moment.
That's okay. I have a lot of animals too.
Yeah, like don't know the difference between. I mean, I think, oh, you're just it's a sewing machine, and you're just putting it on there, and don't necessarily know all of the back end, really how in depth it goes.
Well, and also to your point too, is could you imagine one of those sewing machines doing 5,000 hats? Number one, they couldn't do hats. They could only do flats. A sewing machine could only do flats. But I mean, you need an industrial machine to be able to run all day long. And that's what I'm getting. I'm getting a one head. So if it just seems like a good fit for our company, we would eventually get multi-heads, and multi-heads are where you run all of the designs at the same time. So if we were doing 5,000 hats, imagine doing 5,000 on one machine, or if you have a multi-head with like 6 machines running all at once, it's going to be much quicker. Yeah. So we're not there yet.
But getting there.
We'll see how much we like this. I'm really loving the ability to control timelines for my clients, because right now timelines are so just unpredictable, and just, it gives me heartburn just thinking about how many times we're being this middle person and someone saying, I told you I could get it to you by X, Y, and Z, but I've been really busy. So now it's, pushed out.
Totally.
So that's one of my main reasons I'm getting all this stuff, is because I want to be able to do lower minimums for my clients. I want to be able to control the, production time. And so that's the first machine I got. The second machine I got, if you go to my reels on Instagram, you will see a reel I made based off the machine I got. So I got some heat presses, which what a heat press is you'll see it in my reel. It has heat on the top platen. And I also got a hat heat press that has top and bottom heat. But it basically presses either heat transfers, so these kind of things, into apparel, or it can do a patch, and it can heat press the patch onto the hat for you. So that's
to that point, to go a little bit deeper in what you were saying before we started recording, though, on the type of press that you got. It's not just the top press, but the top and from behind. So you're getting a better seal that's not going to peel off. And so
that's one of the biggest, I think the biggest hurdles on selling patches, I would say, is clients are really worried about the durability of them staying on the garment. And so the heat press that I got for the hats is actually a newer technology. And so, yes, the older technology, when you would just be pressing a hat and putting the heat right on top, you really couldn't put it on that long, because you didn't want to scorch whatever the patch was made out of, as well as the garment. So there was a little bit of, there could have been an issue with it eventually kind of falling off. But the heat press that I got, with the heat coming in from the bottom and the top, you're able to really seal the patches in. So that's amazing because I love selling patches. I think patches really elevate it. I think that you can
Yes.
get a lot of details into patches. And then to go hand in hand with the heat press, I was telling Megan this before we got on the call, but also a lot of the patches nowadays, if you request the digitized file, they can give you the file for the sewing of the patch, and you can have that done on the embroidery machine if your client is apprehensive of just having it.
Right.
And when we get our machines in, I will be testing the durability of the patches myself, and
Yeah.
I'll do a full report.
Well, and so to that point, that's why a lot of times when we're quoting patches and we may quote it two different ways, like this is the price when it's heated sealed,
Yep.
and this is the price when it's embroidered, because the embroidery, which in the embroidery is more expensive for it to
Yes.
be sewn on, I should say, because it's more labor intensive,
Yeah.
and that's why. And also, like these are not your $300 hobbyist machines that where you're doing your circuit
It's not a
cutter.
Cricut.
Yeah, that is not what this
I
is.
have a Cricut, so nothing's wrong with Cricut. It's just not a Cricut.
No, this is not a crate. This is more durable. The materials, the whole machine itself with all of the, what is it, the coils, like everything, the way that this is made is totally different than your, $300 machine.
Correct. And the heat presses also are commercial heat presses. So
Mhm.
not only are we getting higher heats than you would for a hobbyist heat press, but
But
you're
more
also correct and full heat on the full platen versus just sometimes it's spotty, the heat on those Amazon. A lot of people buy their heat
because
press
it's a better quality. Yeah.
and they weren't cheap either. And
That's
the other thing that they have for both the heat presses I purchased is you can put in each item you get, whether it's a transfer or a patch or whatever, it comes to us or the decorator with instructions on temperature, time, and pressure. And when you have a cheaper heat press, you're manually holding it down. You're trying to figure out how much pressure to give it. With these nicer commercial heat presses, you're literally typing in the temperature, you're typing in the pressure, what it is, 1 through 10, and then you're typing in the time, and it tells you, okay, it's ready. It dings when it's ready to lift up. I mean, it is very precise.
Right. So what this means for the client is that this is a, so when you're ordering something like this and you're doing it through us versus, sometime, because you have the side gig and like more power to you, that's awesome. There is a difference in the integrity of the decoration and then in the longevity because of that of the garment or whatever it is that's being decorated. So that just speaks to the quality of work. And then also, like, kudos to you. I'm so excited for you that you're doing this and you're going to be able to offer all of this. It's super exciting.
Yes, I am very excited. I want to show a couple things because I don't know when you have a hard stop.
Yeah.
But yes. So one of the exciting things that I'm getting, and now I think I might get Megan to get one too, is yes, I saw this really cool printer. It's called a white toner printer. It's also a commercial grade one. It's not one you get at Home Depot. They're several $1,000s. They're not cheap. Nothing is cheap that's commercial grade. And the printers are so cool. And this is where you can go to my latest reel and you'll see Bill Murray's face on the front of the reel. And this is the printer printed this. And it basically prints back in the day when they first came out with direct to garment printers or sublimation printers that could create transfers like this, or could print directly onto t-shirts. A big hurdle was getting white could not print. So you'd have to print on light colored items if you had white in your design. Well, this printer is a white toner printer. So it prints literally on everything. You don't need vector art. So another great thing is if you just have a high resolution image, it could be a funny image of your CEO. It could be, a team picture for that department. You don't need vector, which is huge in our industry because usually everything's vector. It's full color. You're not paying by the color like with screen printing. And basically it prints out onto a sheet. And if it's going on a white garment, you can directly heat press it onto the white garment. If it's going onto a black garment, you marry it with a contact sheet of paper to get that on the garment. And so I've always been afraid to sell transfers because of durability or feel
Okay.
like crunchy.
Okay.
Like I'm like, I imagine them to be crunchy or kind of fit.
Yeah.
Yes, vinyl, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I imagine them to start peeling after, I don't know, 15 washes or something in my mind. So when I saw this, I was not in the I was not looking for one of these printers, but when I saw it in action and felt the t-shirt, I was shocked. So the final step is you press the shirts with this kind of special carrier paper, and it ensures that the shirts can be washed up to 70 times. And they just stopped washing it after 70 because they were just like, nothing's really happening. So you're getting that really great quality.
Yeah.
But they did this t-shirt for me, when I was kind of there. And I mean, it's a full color design. It was not vector art. And the other cool thing is, when you tell the software what color the base item is going to be, it changes the artwork so that it's going to become true and pop from whatever color it's based on, because artwork does change when you put it on a certain color base. But if you feel this, it's not plasticky, it's soft. It feels literally just like screen printing to me. So that's what sold me on that.
So Christina, talk about what that would mean for our client, like price point wise, to doing something like that versus if you were doing screen printing or.
It's going to be quantity based, as we all know. And I think so let me show you one more thing before we talk about that, because that's going to kind of go into this. So then at the heat press kind of booth, they, demonstrated the heat press. And so this is what they did for me there. And one really cool detail is you can make your own custom hang tags, or what do you call them? Tags. And then you can most of the apparel that me and Megan can get have tearaway labels at this point. So you just tear away the label, and then you can create your own message with, your company culture, whatever, something kind of silly. So this right here, also not crunchy, very soft. But what this is it's called a screen print transfer. So what the company's doing, and this isn't in-house, but we would order it, is they're literally screen printing what they would on the t-shirt onto these,
paper,
onto these different pieces of paper. And then we're applying them. And what's really cool about that is, there's a handful of decorators that offer really cool different screen printing options, like water-based ink, or how about glow in the dark, And so there's some really cool options out there, and the decorators we use that's just not what they do. There's only a handful that do it, and they're busy. So the nice thing is we can order those, and those are basically screen print transfers, versus that Leonard Skinner shirt I showed you is from the printer. It's also a transfer, but it's not screen printed transfer.
Right.
And then, as Megan mentioned, there's also vinyl transfers, which are a little more, and they're like this, because another company gave me this. They are really bright in color, but they're a little, they have a little
heavier.
bit.
It's what people, and honestly, it is what most people think about when they think about a transfer, what a heat transfer is. And you think about like sports uniforms, your things like that where it's heavy. And there are so many more options now that fall under what a heat transfer is.
Well, one really cool thing, and I don't have a sample here, but like you might be able to see it here. There's so many finishes. So this has a glitter finish to it, which is really cool. And they have reflective in like 10 or 12 different tones. So you can do a tone on tone shirt that's very minimal, but then when the light hits it the right way, you get that reflective. So there's just so many more options when you go the transfer route versus just going with screen printing. So you're talking about pricing. So it all depends on quantity. It depends on also kind of size of design. Which screen printing usually doesn't depend on size of design, because a screen is a screen is a screen is a screen. It's really just dependent on number of colors.
Right.
And if you need a flash, because a lot of times if you're on a darker garment, they're going to charge an extra.
You got undercoat.
Yeah. Undercoat.
Yeah.
So I would say it's comparable. There's some times that it's going to make more sense to go the screen printing route if your quantity is really high. If your colors are just one or two, it may make sense if you're not in a rush. But if you're in a rush, I mean, these transfers, ordering them online, if I printed them in-house, I mean, I control that. But if we ordered them online, there's a couple ways to order them. You can order them kind of sized and ready to go. You can also order what's called a gang sheet. So like, let's say you want to do the yoke of the neck, also the inside neck tag, and you want to do something on the sleeve, and you want to do something on the chest. We can put them all in one sheet, which is saving you money. And then we can cut them out and then heat press them on. And you're not limited on colors. Unless you're doing the screen print transfer, then they do charge by the color.
So, but what is great about this though, is that you'll be able to do this for a customer, you know, who calls last minute and is like, oh, I forgot we've got this, whatever, picnic this weekend. And, you know, there are 5 of us that need shirts. And you can print that out quickly to be able to do it, or if a photo or whatever, you'll be able to do that and provide that service.
That is one thing. And also I'm super excited about hats. Hats, as Megan will probably attest to, the inventory is very unpredictable right now with the hats, like especially in the main colors. Don't even think about a Richardson 112. But, you know, if you're a little more open to going with other brands or being flexible, we can get the hats in, and usually it'll take, you know, 48 hours, I would say, if we're getting blanks. And so the ability I could even do the transfers on the hats. So that's kind of cool. I can also do the underbill transfers on the underbill.
Yes, that's so fun.
How fun is that? But if you did want to order patches, the cool thing is when you're ordering blank hats and just patches, and you're not having them done in-house together, you can get them a lot quicker than if you're ordering the hats and having them do them in-house. So if they send me, let's say, you know, 20 of these patches, I can, you know, get these heat pressed onto your hats. I can, you know, if you want to get them reinforced with the embroidery machine, we can do that. But there are just so many cool patches out there. This one's a little crazy. It's a Snoopy with a gun, but it's the chenille kind of finish to
like
it.
That kind of applique. Well, talk about, okay. So also company programs, like how awesome will this be? Welcome kits, new hire kits, you know, things like that. You have the patches on hand for your client, boom, send it out, you know, and it's basically, it's ordering as released. So
right. So what I would recommend on the company stores, because I have a couple of clients that are looking into starting company stores right now, like year-round company stores, and I feel very uncomfortable picking a apparel item, and because if I don't know when you're ordering, and I don't know if it's going to be in stock in that color. I mean, that is kind of, in my mind, a nightmare, because nothing's in stock. It's constantly fluctuating. So in my mind, if someone did want to do a company store, I think a good way to do it is, if you pick some baseline apparel items, is let's pre-purchase a certain amount of each size that you predict. So we have them in-house, like Megan says, and then we can decorate them on demand. I mean, typically in a normal, when we're not in a COVID supply crunch, I would say, who cares? Like, we don't really have to check on stock like that. But I think currently, I mean, how are you handling it? You have a lot of stores going on. So how is that working for you?
We do. Well, I mean, there's one Nike polo that's on all of our stores that is just totally unavailable right now. And that it is what it is. But there are still options that have availability, where I think what you're doing is super cool is, you know, usually with company stores, if it's not inventory that the client has pre-purchased and that you're holding, because the cool things like the patches and all of that, especially with hat decoration and even with the apparel decoration too, there are minimums with all of that.
Yes.
You have to order the patches. So, but what you'll be able to do is to have just the patches themselves and apply them to hats one at a time. And so you can do a cool release program like that with super fun decoration that's not just your basic embroidery, which is what most store programs like that are set up.
Yeah.
When it's the company only wants to pay for one at a time.
Yep.
You know, so that's where I think that could be really cool and a lot of fun.
Well, and also I just did probably like 20 really nice jackets with heat transfers done by the company for a board of directors gift. And it went over so well that now they want just 2 more jackets. I contacted the company and they're like, 2, no, 12 is the minimum. We can't just do 2. We can send you the heat transfers, but you have to order 25 of each minimum. And then you can order the blank jackets and you can get them done yourself, but we're not touching a 2 jacket order.
Yeah.
So
now you can use your super cool printer.
Yeah.
Print that out.
Yeah.
Heat apply it. Boom.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just am really excited. I think Megan and I don't have it pulled up right now. I think the rest of this month, we are going to be obviously talking about holidays. I would say I have probably put in 3 holiday orders thus far. So no one's really listening to me. I just would like to say that. And that's fine. But we will be talking holidays the rest of this month. And then next month, we will have a guest speaker each week that's a supplier so that they can tell you currently what is in deep inventory that we can get in time. And then if you haven't ordered by November.
Yeah. I mean, I know we talk about it every time. So I'm just gonna throw this in and not elaborate so much. But I just read a Forbes article yesterday talking about the shipping crisis. And
oh yeah, $20,000 now. They're raising the rates on the shipping containers up to, which they used to be. What would you say, $1,000? I don't know.
Yeah, like around 2,000, 1,800.
Right.
Yeah.
They're now charging $20,000 a shipping container because they can, because I went to the grocery store last night and the shelves were empty. I was checking out and I said, are people hoarding things again or what's going on? And the person at the checkout stand said, no, we can't get anything. That's right. I mean, I know me and Megan sound dramatic, but I just want to say that. And then I forgot, I want to show this jacket real quick because it has a bunch of different decorations on it. And so it's kind of cool. So this is, I love the patch. And then this is a heat transfer on the arm that they put on. They also did a kind of more tone on tone gray leather patch here, but how cool is this neck? So then also heat transfer on the neck. Yeah. And then you have, this is literally, they sent it to me to show all the different decoration methods, but then we have embroidery. And I think probably my favorite, and Megan might love it too. Look at this tone on tone.
Love that
tone with a little bit of a shine to it, gloss to it on the sleeve. And it just really makes it look retail. And it's really, I mean, obviously you wouldn't put all of these locations on the same jacket, but the way that you can strategically put just a little message on the neckline. Also this jacket, they do custom colored zipper pulls. So, you can do the different colored zipper pulls. So there's just little ways you can customize things without really just putting your brand all over it, but still letting people know it's from you.
Is that a Storm Crate jacket? What jacket is that?
Oh, it's one of my favorite companies. It's Storm Tech.
Storm Tech. Okay.
Do you ever use them?
Yeah.
I love them. Their turnaround time currently is very slow. So you can't be in a hurry, but the quality. So basically the way I explain it to my clients is it's the Canadian North Face.
And their bags are amazing.
Yeah,
for sure.
The bags are very impressive. So if you don't get caught up in that Richardson 112, that North Face, like let us tell you what's good and out there because we know what's up. We would not steer you wrong.
That we can tell you what actually has inventory.
Yeah, exactly. So I did not think of a question of the week because my brain's not working very good. And that's okay, but we will be back next week and, thanks for joining us. And if you have questions or if you have topics you want us to talk about, just tell us. You can, DM Megan, DM myself, and we will definitely add it to the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We're just winging it over here. So we kind of need your feedback.
We're just having fun. That's
Totally.
all we're doing. Talking to ourselves. It's okay.
And that's fine. Actually, a couple people said they watched it. And we were like, I think Megan even called me to tell me someone told her they watched the episode. So she had to share that with me. And I was like, wow.
I was like, Tina, guess what? Somebody told me they actually watched it.
Yeah. So anyways, well, thank you. We will see you next week. And have a great week. Call us to make those orders ASAP.
Yes.
Bye.
Okay, bye.